Hey there YouTube, Wrestling Optimus here, back with another action figure review. Due to an NBA game, AEW's Holiday Bash is airing on a delay tonight. Thankfully, the card looks like it'll be worth the wait. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and a Merry Festivus to the rest of us. It's time for some holiday wrestling action. But first, if you're new here, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more pro wrestling and action figure content. Now, we're headed into my custom dailies place, so for a recap and review, let's take it over to the action figures. The Real Dailies place is decked out in festive holiday decor, including Christmas trees and lights around the tunnels. I did the best I could with mine. Hope you enjoy it. Dynamite jumps immediately into a tag team match between the Inner Circle's MJF and Chris Jericho and Top Flight. The Martin brothers have quickly become fan favorites for a reason, impressing with their incredibly smooth style against veteran teams like the Inner Circle tonight and the Young Bucks. Everything these guys do is fast yet fluid and so much fun to watch. There's something special to keep your eye on. Meanwhile, Jericho is putting over young talent again, just another day at the office. After taking a flurry of offense, he and MJF regroup with Hager on the outside. Using a number of questionable tactics, they manage to take back control of the match. Dante takes out Jericho by sending him over the barricades. While the ref deals with that, Hager slams Darius onto the apron, allowing MJF to hit the Heat Seeker for the win. However, in a rare moment, Jake Hager takes the mic. He says that ever since the Inner Circle came together a few weeks ago, they've been winning. That's because everyone is pulling their weight. Except one person. He calls out Wardlow for being away on family business lately and questions his loyalty to the group. He knows Wardlow is an asset, but he's also an asshole. So, after speaking with Tony Khan, we're getting a battle of the big men next week at New Year's Smash between Wardlow and Jake Hager. In anticipation of tonight's main event, the Acclaim debut a hunting-themed music video which plays off the Young Bucks name. Thankfully, they've moved on from incest jokes to more topical insults like "Kiss Dave's ass" for a star rating. Tony Schiavone is out to interview Sting again, and once again, Darby Allin is high up in the rafters watching on. Schiavone asks the Icon about his plans in AEW. He says that's a deep question, and recalls, with a perfect impression, how the legendary Dusty Rhodes was the one who told him to paint his face and wear colorful tights. Then, he booked Sting against Ric Flair. So when the Dream's offspring, Cody Rhodes, started a new company called AEW, he knew he had to be a part of it. As for Darby, they're interrupted by Taz and the full complement of Team FTW. He takes a swipe at both men before Ricky Stark says they want to know why Sting has been sticking his nose in their business. After a threat, all four men move towards the ring when the lights go out. They come back on to reveal Darby standing beside Sting. Because of their bat and skateboard respectively, Taz says he'll save it for another day. Like January 6th, when Darby will defend his TNT Championship against the Machine Brian Cage. Darby and Sting have a stare down to close out the segment. MJF finds Santana and Ortiz backstage and acknowledges the passing of their loved one. He says that his grandfather also passed away recently from cancer, so he knows how hard it is, and he's there for them. Santana says, "Keep your head up," and both men shake MJF's hand. I'm actually rather shocked. This seemed like a sincere gesture by MJF. Colt Cabana joins numbers 5 and 10 of the Dark Order for a 6-man tag match against Jurassic Express. Marco is especially elusive tonight, getting away from Cabana's strikes with ease, but the teamwork of 5 and 10 gives them the advantage. Luckily, the boys have a dinosaur in their corner with one of the best hot tags in the game. He lays out 10 with a tail whip kick and chokeslams 5. Then, at the end, he uses Marco as a weapon to take out 10 and Colt, so he and Jungle Boy can deliver the powerbomb combination on 5 to pick up the victory. Tony Schiavone tries to interview Jurassic Express afterwards, but they're interrupted on the Tron by Tully Blanchard and FTR. They claim to be the 2020 Tag Team of the Year. Now, they're laser focused on getting back the tag team titles, and they aren't going to let a dinosaur get in the way. So they challenge Jurassic Express to a match on January 6th, and Tully warns Marco that if he interferes, Blanchard might have a flashback to the 80s. Alex Marvez catches up with Kenny Omega and Don Callis at their hotel. Don says he's sick and tired of Tony Khan supposedly letting the wrestlers run amok in AEW. Specifically, he's pissed about Pac thinking he can dictate when the world champion wrestles. Kenny takes a different approach and lists all the times that Phoenix has choked. For the AEW Tag Team titles, against Kenny for the AAA Mega Championship, in the Eliminator Tournament against Pentagon where he got injured. What'll happen when he faces Omega, who's already beaten him and beat his brother in that same tournament? He ends with, "You get hurt, I get titles. That's just how it is." Mic drop. Eddie Kingston joins commentary to antagonize JR and the boys as the Butcher, with the Blade and the Bunny in his corner, takes on Pac with Pentagon in his corner. It's a great matchup of brute strength versus technical wizardry, and probably the best that the Butcher has ever looked. During a commercial break, he goes after the babyfaces at ringside. When Pac heads to the top rope, the Blade attacks Penta, distracting him. Butcher gets off a massive clothesline and 2 big slams, but the bastard kicks out. Eddie leaves commentary to scream at the Butcher for lacking urgency. As he heads to the ring, Lance Archer appears to keep him at bay. Without Eddie there to help him cheat, the Butcher succumbs to a black arrow and Pac gets the win. He and Pentagon stare down Archer after the match. Jade Cargill tells Brandy Rhodes that motherhood is a beautiful thing, but she does think it's rather convenient that right when she showed up in AEW, Brandy turned up pregnant. Now, she's demanding a new, worthy opponent. It's time for the best man Miro to help Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford with their big wedding announcement. They say it's a huge deal, not just for them, but for everyone, because it's going to be the first wrestling wedding ever on TNT. They pretend to announce the date, but play the Best Friends music instead as a joke. Then, they cut to the parking lot where Trent is being loaded into an ambulance as Chuck and Orange Cassidy look on. Guess they won't be here tonight after all. With that, they finally reveal that their wedding will be at AEW Beach Break on February 3rd. After insulting Dustin Rhodes by bringing up his awful WCW gimmick 7 while trying to recruit him into the Dark Order, Evil Uno takes on the Natural in singles competition. I will never not be amazed by how good Dustin looks at his age. He dominates the match, hitting all his classic moves and even his dad's flip, flop, and fly. Just like he did to number 10 the other week, Dustin wins with the Bulldog. He holds up 7 fingers to the camera and shakes his head angrily. Despite the loss, Uno gets on his knees and continues begging for Dustin to join Dark Order. He catches a boot to the face for his troubles. Stu Grayson tries to make the save, but they're both chased off by QT Marshall and Lee Johnson. Tony Schiavone is back again, this time at the request of Shawn Spears. He says he left New York, referring to WWE, but even though he changed the 3 letters, it didn't change the glass ceiling. He claims to be more talented than 95% of the roster, yet Cody and management have held him back ever since he showed up hot as hell. After Tony says that the common denominator may be Spears, he storms out, implying that he may have quit AEW. Dasha is backstage with Hikaru Shida and asks if her recent issues with Abaddon will affect her ability to prepare for Alex Gracia tonight. But before she can answer, Abaddon attacks from out of nowhere. They scuffle until security, strangely including Michael Nakazawa, is able to separate them. Seemingly unfazed, the women's champion heads to the ring. During the match, Shida notices Abaddon creeping around the babyfaces and delivers a running knee, then starts beating the crap out of her. She only stops when she realizes she's about to be counted out. Back in the ring, she hits a Falcon Arrow for the squash victory. Afterwards, she pokes Abaddon with her kendo stick, only for the monster to stand up and literally bite her neck like a vampire. This bitch just keeps getting more and more psycho, and I love it. It's time for the main event, as the Acclaim take on the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Apparently Max Caster and Anthony Bowens have already garnered so much heat, the boos practically drown out their freestyle entrance. Max even turns to the crowd and mouths, "Why are you booing us?" Meanwhile, the champs come out to thunderous applause and do what they always do. Both teams fly around the ring faster than I can take notes, hitting all kinds of amazing double team moves until suddenly Nick Jackson accidentally catches referee Rick Knox with a super kick. That allows Caster to get the low blow and Bowens to hit Nick with his boombox. But by the time another ref makes it to the ring, they can only manage a 2 count. Eventually, Matt puts Anthony through the timekeeper's table, and the Young Bucks hit Max with a BTE trigger to retain their titles. Overall, that wasn't the most jam-packed episode, as the special holiday branding would suggest, but it was still a lot of fun. I'm so happy that while most other content creators are taking off for the holidays, AEW is still pumping out the content. The wrestling was solid, and they managed to advance a couple of storylines, like Kip and Penelope's wedding, and Abaddon going after the women's title. Even when they phone it in for the holidays, AEW still manages to put on a great show. Alright, that'll do it for AEW's Holiday Bash edition of Dynamite. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Like most people, I'm taking the week off, but I'll be back next Thursday with a review for Night 1 of AEW's New Year's Smash, so check back then. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to do all that normal YouTube stuff. Smash the like button, share with any wrestling or action figure fans you may know, subscribe to the channel, and spread the word. You can also talk to me over on Twitter at PSUOptimus, or see all my best figure photography over on Instagram at WrestlingOptimus. If you haven't seen my review of TLC, you can check that out right here. But until next time, I've been Wrestling Optimus, and I'll catch you later.